Special day today.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
2 years ago today,
Wow.
all three of us and other people, a lot of our friends, were laid off by Bell at Team 1040. Now, the funny station or whatever the suits in Toronto call it these days. I haven't listened since.
Oh, I haven't.
Just a horrible, horrible day for our industry and for people who care about broadcasting in this country, including listeners and viewers. Derek Wong, our director, also worked for Bell. Did you get your pink slip that day, Derek, or was it earlier?
No, it was earlier.
Earlier,
I made the change, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they got rid of you before they got rid of us, huh? I don't mean to make light of it. But, look, a lot of people out there have been laid off. And, I've been laid off a couple of times in this business. What are you on, 3 or 4 now? Or what is it?
I'm in double digits.
And it happens to people. I get it.
Kidding.
But these are the let's talk people, the mental health people.
Yeah,
and the way they did it. We walked into the studio. Pardon me. Before anybody got into the studio, at least for our show, which was Donnie and the Moj at the time, and you were involved in it, Ryan was involved in it, I'm driving into work. I get a buddy who's working on a Richmond construction site. He phones me and says, Donnie, what's going on with the station? They're playing generic music. There was some weird announcement and then generic music. And as I'm driving, I'm thinking, should I bother going in? Because I know that
I know what's going to happen.
I know the way things work. It's over. They're playing generic music. They locked the station down. The producer of the morning show, which was Halford and Bruff, couldn't get in. The control board. Yeah. It had been taken over by I don't know who.
Kicked them out.
The people in Toronto, and that's the way they did it.
Okay.
I mean, these are the people who advocate mental health, and that's the way you deal with people. And I'll tell you what. 2 years later, we landed on our feet thanks to Czech. What a great company it is. Employee owned, all of that. But we know people are still hurting right now. 2 years later, they got laid off. The way they got laid off, just absolutely horrible. Then the thing that's really tough. Do you ever read the business, any business news on the internet?
Yep.
Like Bell, the profits they announced recently. And I get it. You want your company to do well. That's fine. That's fine. And then other corporations like Shell, like just these profits that are just
massive.
Absolutely mind-blowing. And I'm sure one of the reasons that they're profitable is because they do a really good job of laying off employees and cutting their payroll. And just you see some of the salaries, and look, I've done okay through the years, but some of the salaries of these executives and they're laying off people, are probably getting bonuses for reducing payroll. Shameful. Absolutely shameful. And again, I'll be okay. You'll be okay. Ryan will be okay. Derek, I'm not sure about, but he'll be okay. But it still stings the way it was done. More so than the fact it was done. The way it was done.
Donnie, I'm going to tell you a story because I was there on day one when 1040 opened up. It was a family that owned 1040, the Chum family. Right. It was a family feel to it. Now it's these suits in Toronto. It's all corporate. They don't care. They're sitting in their offices overlooking the water there in Toronto. They don't care. They don't give a rat's
frozen
ass.
Water.
They don't give a rat's ass about Vancouver. It's shoestring budgets. It's not about quality anymore, Donnie. We grew up in this city where people were. There was CKNW, McRae, Russell, McConnell, Ward, Powell. There was quality. Now it's shoestring budgets. How can we do it the cheapest possible? They're shoving national programming down our throats. It's run out of Toronto. They don't care. There's no family feel to it anymore, and it's a tough time in our industry, Donnie. It's a tough time.
Yeah, and look. You just said something there. The people who run, and they've ruined broadcasting in this country. Everything is so generic. Everybody's so safe. It's just so boring, especially at the national level. You just said something about them not caring about Vancouver.
They don't
care about BC. They don't care about other provinces outside Ontario. And here's another thing to say about that is that people accuse TSN, Sportsnet. And
Yeah.
look, we access a lot of their information.
Yep.
We do appreciate
We
that.
do.
There's great people working there. I'm not so sure about the people in charge.
Yeah.
I maintain that not only do they only care about Toronto, the second on the list is what's going on south of the border.
Yeah.
They don't care east-west.
Yeah.
They care north-south.
That's it.
That's it. I shouldn't say north. I don't think they care about what's going on in Fort St. John.
No.
They care about what's going on in Toronto and what's going on down south.
That's
it. Look, tremendous. LeBron becomes the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Canucks played that night. They didn't get to that story until, I don't know, 35 minutes into Sports Center that night. It was all about LeBron. It's being covered by a lot of American networks, easily accessible. They don't. Not only do they not care about. Not only do they only care about Toronto, they don't care about the rest of Canada. They care more about the States.
No, they don't.
They care more about the Super Bowl than the Grey Cup. All that stuff.
The Vancouver Canucks are on a road trip right now, folks. I want to let you know something. There's one reporter from Vancouver there. That's it. Donnie, 10 years ago, the Canucks were on a road trip. There'd be 6, 7, 8 guys from Vancouver on the road trip. There's one there now. One. The Vancouver province is not sending anyone to the Canucks on the road. Mm-hmm. The local radio station can't send their play-by-play team on the road, Donnie. Shoestring budgets everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a very tough thing right now in our industry.
And again, I'll go back to the start. It's not so much about being laid off. And I know a lot of you out there in podcast land, radio land, TV land, you've had tough times. You've been laid off. You've been fired, all of that. I don't know anybody who was let go the way we were.
No,
it was really bad. Again,
there's no family.
And it's not just about me. It's about people making a lot less money than we were, who don't to this day don't have a job. They haven't landed on their feet. It's the way they were let off.
If the decision makers are sitting in an office in Toronto, what the hell do they care about people in Vancouver? They don't. They don't. Local ownership and the BC Lions are proving it. Look what happens magically when you have a good owner.
2 years ago today. Dark day in our industry, but we've got check, and hopefully
very lucky. We lucked out.
You have us, and we move on